sports.
We are Black We are Florida.
At the end of the day, you got to get tired of taking that right-hand turn, running down the baseline, and figure out a way for somebody to step up, whether it's a pitcher or a position player, and get a big hit or get somebody out. I know guys are grinding. I know they're trying. I know all that stuff. But at the end of the day, we got to get the job done, and somebody's got to step up.
Who will step up tonight? Mets, Marlins. Miami tonight, it's a rainy night in downtown Miami. Come on into Marlins Park. The Mets are hot. They've just swept a 4-game set against the Yankees. The Marlins are not. The Fish have dropped 9 in a row and sit at 13 and 41. Juan Pierre, Marlon Byrd, chatting it out. Marcell Ozuna still got the long hit streak. Chris Coghlan continues to swing it, and look who's back. Jacob Turner, one of the big pieces in that Tigers trade. First-round draft pick of the Tigers a few years back. Everyone, Rich Waltz along with Tommy Hutton. Mike Redmond, you just heard him. That was last night. 9 straight losses, 13 and 41. You knew this was going to be a challenging year, but it sounds as if Redmond has said enough is enough with this losing.
Yeah, absolutely right. It's the major leagues. Guys are getting paid pretty well. I can remember something Tommy Lasorda told a group of guys one time. He said, I know you're trying. He said, I can go out and get truck drivers to come in here and try. You guys are getting paid for results, and that's what Mike Redmond wants right now.
The Mets got results against the Yankees. Here's the starting pitching matchup tonight. Mets pitchers have been throwing lights out. Sean Markham threw very well his last time out, and of course Jacob Turner, all part of the Coventry Healthcare pitching matchup.
Yeah, it's amazing. Markham hasn't won a game, but he was outstanding against the Braves last time out in 7 innings. He punched out 12. And how about Jacob Turner? Really had a rough spring. He was going to be the 3 or 4 starter. He did not pitch well in spring training. We saw him last year. He's not an overpowering pitcher, still a good live fastball, a couple of breaking balls, and a changeup. And when we saw him last year, he pitched a couple of times against the Mets, and in his 2 starts against the Mets, an ERA in the 2s. In New Orleans, he started to throw the ball better. Last 4 starts in AAA, you can see the numbers tell you the story. An ERA at 3, and the walks were down, strikeouts were up a little bit. He needs to continue that on tonight.
And this opens a 3-game weekend series. We'll see if, number 1, the Mets can stay hot after sweeping the Yankees, and we'll see if the Marlins take heed from their young manager and are able to snap a 9-game losing streak, start getting some hits, start getting some runs, and start getting some wins. Marlins and Mets. Marcell Ozuna just keeps on hitting. When we get back, Craig Minervini and Jeff Conine take over. Marlins Park. Craig Minervini, Jeff Conine.
All right, Rich, thank you very much. We look forward to the call coming up with you and Tommy in just a bit. First, we want to talk a little bit about a terrific streak going on here for Marcell Ozuna. Are you surprised at all that he's put together a young streak here, 15 games?
I am a little surprised when you thought about him coming up early this season. You know, when you looked at his minor league numbers, he's a power guy, not really high on the average, but he has been outstanding as far as his plate discipline and pitch selection. And we haven't seen that much power from him yet, only 1 home run. So a lot of these extra base hits you see right here have been to the power alleys here at Marlins Park, but a very impressive approach.
When you look at his bat, though, it's such a quick bat, a quick turn. It does look like one that could play to average more so than maybe his past.
Yeah, absolutely. If he gets his, you know, like you see now, you get his pitch selection down and you look at the averages of him. I mean, he's hitting 320 right now. I mean, this is a guy that with a quick short swing like he's got, you see the hitting streaks historically for Marlins rookies. Edgar Renteria leads the pack at 22, and he's at 15 right now. I mean, 7 to go. I mean, that's a good hitting streak in and of itself.
Yes,
so
it is. It's tough.
We might be talking a little bit too early about it, but there is a chance.
Hey, one more, he passes your old pal Chucky Carr, gets the second all-time if he can get hit tonight, and then he can maybe put his eyes on the great Edgar Renteria. But right now, the Marlins are focusing in on the team in blue and orange, and they're hot all of a sudden. They won 5 straight. We'll see if the Marlins can stop them in Game 1 next.
Let's go places by AT&T Uverse TV. Check availability at 1-800-PICK-AT&T. Rethink possible. And by Just for Men Auto Stop, the foolproof way to get rid of gray. By Checkers, feast on. Clouds, rain, a little bit of everything today in Miami. Mets and Marlins opening up a weekend series. 2 teams headed in different directions. The Mets have won 5 straight, 4 of those against the Yankees. Jacob Turner takes the ball and is about to take the hill. The 22-year-old last year with the Fish in 7 starts was 1-4. And there goes Juan Pierre on his way out to left field. The Mets improving to 22-29. And they see Turner fresh up from New Orleans, where he made 10 starts, was 3-4, and as Tommy documented, much better in his last few starts for the New Orleans ball club. Turner, of course, you go back to 2009. He was the 9th overall pick by the Detroit Tigers. There are his 10 starts in New Orleans. And for Turner and the Fish, they will try to stop what has become a snowball rolling down the hill of 9 straight losses. Here come the Mets. They have a new shortstop. Not necessarily a new one, but a different one. Even Mr. Met has a smile after that sweep of the Yankees. Omar Quintanilla. Daniel Murphy, always hitting 300. He's at second. David Wright at third base. Lucas Duda's in left field. John Buck behind the plate. Rick Ankiel, Port St. Lucie product, is in center field. Marlon Byrd has had a nice couple of nights. Homers in his last 2 games. Ike Davis has really struggled. And Sean Markham will hit 9th for the Mets. Terry Collins, the skipper, in his 3rd year as the manager of the Mets.
Yeah, you heard the quotes of Mike Redmond talking about time for guys to step up and get a big hit, have a good outing. And I think this is a great opportunity for Jacob Turner. He really struggled in the spring. That was very clear. He went down. It was humbling, I'm sure, for him to go down to AAA. And so it's an opportunity for him to step up. Here's a look at the defense brought to you by Cleveland Clinic. And there's Juan Pierre. There's Chris Coughlin in center. He moves over to center with Ozuna in right field. Placido Polanco, Ed Lucas making his first major league start. He'll be at shortstop. Derek Dietrich, Dobbs at first. And the veteran Jeff Mathis will handle Turner. And I think that's a good call to have him behind the plate handling Turner.
Omar Quintanilla, who was briefly a Met last year, digs in. Quintanilla, a left-handed bat. Pinch a penny brings you the first pitch. And he takes a strike.
When we saw Turner last year, Rich, when he pitched well, he had some good outings. He was free and easy. Fastball's what you saw, about 91, 92. He has a couple of breaking pitches, and he threw strikes. But when he started spring training, the fastball wasn't there, the velocity wasn't quite there, and the command wasn't there at all.
And his first few starts out of the chute in AAA, he was the same guy as spring training, which brought concern from the Marlins. Obviously, he's turned it around. We'll see if it translates tonight against a Mets team that's coming off a real high of the sweep of the Yankees. Quintanilla had his contract purchased from the Mets AAA team, which is actually in Las Vegas. He replaced Ruben Tejada on the active roster.
Not a bad trip, Vegas to South Florida.
Check swing. Did he go? No, says Eric Cooper, who's at third. Paul Schreiber behind the plate. Jed Fairchild at first. And Jeff Kellogg is out at second. Turner grew up in Missouri, St. Charles, Missouri. Same hometown as Mark Burley. Ground ball headed Polanco's way. On to first in time. And so Quintanilla is out number 1.
And remember, with Jacob Turner, he made his major league debut back in 2011 when he was a member of the Tigers. He made his Marlins debut last August in Arizona.
Daniel Murphy now, the Jacksonville product. I'm not sure that we've seen Daniel Murphy when he's not hitting 300, because he's always right around that 300 mark. And Murphy takes a fastball outside.
They came in to this year, and this is his 5th year in the major leagues, a 292 lifetime hitter.
And is he raking away from home? Zips that one in the gap, right center. Ozuna picks it up. Murphy around first. He'll stop there. Murphy hitting over 370 on the road this year and just 241 at Citi Field. In his last 18 games, he's been scorching.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible. And it's also a nice job by Ozuna, and it illustrates why you have to have speed and get good jumps in this outfield. This ball was heading for the gap. Ozuna got a good jump and got over there to cut it off. A lot of trouble if that ball gets through.
Because not only are the gaps big, but the grass, as nice as it is, and it's much improved from last year, still pretty quick. It's a real contrast to, say, Coors Field. Big gaps, slow outfield. Here's David Wright. He goes after the first pitch. And just to get David Wright out for the Marlins in this ballpark is a big deal.
Yeah, the amazing thing about the way the Mets have played, especially in that series against the Yankees, they've got a number of hitters really struggling. But Terry Collins also has a couple of guys that have been hot, and his pitching has been very good.
Historically good in that 4-game set. Mets pitchers haven't issued a walk in 3 games. Now Lucas Duda.
Yeah, according to some research, the 3-game stretch of no walks and over 30 strikeouts is a first.
Ever.
Not just for the Mets. Ever.
Duda, the hulking left fielder, a first baseman by trade, but of course, with Ike Davis at first for the time being, Duda's been pushed to the outfield. Now Davis is really scuffled and is actually all the way down in the 8th spot in the order tonight. John Buck's on deck, Murphy away from first. Turner delivers, and it's fouled at the plate. Marlins are hopeful as well that Nathan Eovaldi is one rehab start away from being healthy and ready to join the rotation. And that'll put a smile on Mike Redmond's face. If you really want a smile on Mike Redmond's face, add 2 or 3 hitters to the lineup. Rolled on the ground, Dietrich gathers it up, flips to first in time. Nice inning by Jacob Turner. Headed to the bottom of the first in Miami tonight. Scoreless.
Well, that's a good one, too. You get a little peanut butter, a little banana.
I like the 5-tool play. That's the go-to one.
Oh, yeah.
Marlins hopeful that this lineup is able to snap the skid.
Hope the lineup blends the way that does.
Very nice. Juan Pierre at left, Placido Polanco at third, Derek Dietrich at second, Marcelo Zuna in the cleanup spot. Chris Coughlin will hit 5th. Ed Lucas gets his first big league start. Greg Dobbs is at first. Jeff Mathis is handling the kid. Jacob Turner.
Amazing start for Sean Markham, his last time out. He's not known for being a strikeout pitcher, but he had 12 strikeouts against the Atlanta Braves in 7 innings. Gave up just 4 hits and 2 runs. He's not an overpowering guy. He's not gonna touch 90 on the radar gun. Let's just say that.
Markham gets Juan Pierre, Placido Polanco, Derek Dietrich. And Markham throws a strike. Pierre trying to get it together. Comes in hitting it
222. Importantly for Pierre, the on-base percentage is down as well. He's at 276. And then Markham will do that. He has a big breaking ball that comes a long way. He's out of Kansas City, Missouri, is Sean Markham. Involved in a significant trade between the Brewers and the Blue Jays.
Kind of an interesting battery because Markham and John Buck were together as pitcher and catcher when they were both members of the Toronto Blue Jays.
That was the 2010 season. 13-8 was Markham that year.
And Buck was an all-star, so it was a good year for both of them.
And to left, Lucas Duda, a prelude to the defense, which is brought to you by the Cleveland Clinic, Florida.
All right, so I don't have to tell you that Duda is in left field. You already know that. Rick Ankiel, he can cover a lot of ground, has a strong arm. He's in center. Marlon Byrd, the veteran. Wright and Quintanilla on the left side of the infield. Daniel Murphy, Ike Davis. And we've talked a little bit about John Buck behind the plate.
Here's Polanco now. And a strike from Markham.
When you see 84, 85, 86, that's Markham's fastball.
So would you qualify him as a crafty right-hander?
There you go. He is. Who did we have the other night that we put in that category?
There's your scouting report.
Funkiness. It doesn't touch 90. And he's a guy, I mean, a lot of times you'll say a guy adds and subtracts well, but you mainly mean with the fastball. He adds and subtracts with everything, with the changeup, with the slow curveball.
And that's how a guy that throws his fastball at 84, 85 survives in the big leagues. And this guy has not only survived, but had a real nice career. Although this year he's at 0-5, he strikes out Polanco, subtracting a little off that breaking
Yeah, that
ball.
was like a little cutter. Looked like it was going to start off inside, and it came back and just caught the corner.
Rand Eye Institute bringing you Fox Tracks.
Watch this pitch. Looked like it's going to be inside. Little cutter, got a nice frame job by Buck.
Now Dietrich's first time facing the Mets. His average has slid to 229. So that would have been a batting practice fastball, the 82. He subtracted off the 85.
Yeah, his changeup is usually going to be in the 70s. There's that little cutter.
Markham in his career is an impressive 57-41 with an ERA of under 4, and that's impressive because he's pitched in two real good hitters' ballparks as his home park in Toronto for many seasons, and then the last 2 years in Milwaukee. Dietrich pulls it foul. Remember, the Milwaukee Brewers were trying to stockpile pitching. Zach Greinke had been there. They were bringing in arms. They sent a high-energy third baseman, Brett Lawrie, to the Blue Jays, a player that we love to watch. And
if he can keep himself healthy.
Yeah. And Markham went from the Blue Jays 2 seasons in Milwaukee. He was 13-7 in 2011, 7-4 last year, but an elbow injury limited his time. And Sean Markham makes quick work of Miami in the first. out on the Budweiser bow tie balcony. They're in high definition. The beer is cold.
See, now how did we go from smoothies to the Budweiser balcony?
It's an easy shift, Tommy. Just a little jump in age. Everyone was carded. Out they went. And here's John Buck. Rick Ankiel, Marlon Byrd to follow. Buck had that blistering start, but for Buck, he's cooled down of late. He takes a breaking ball for a strike. 13 for his last 77, going back to the 3rd of May, which is a 169 average. You see the difference in the numbers.
Of course, the Marlins saw the Mets a couple of times in April, and that's when Buck was at his hottest. All those home runs, 9 in April.
Behind the count, 0-2. Still, he has the 9th most homers in the National League, and you get that type of production out of your catcher. The Mets, of course, have been starved for production out of their catchers the last few years. Turner's been spinning it up there pretty good so far. And he misses away with a running fastball, and it's 2-2. Of course, a real struggle last year. The one thing that came out of last year for Buck was late in the season, the drills that he started with then hitting coach Eduardo Perez helped propel him to his off-season regimen and to his hot start. Gets jammed, dumps it into shallow left. Pierre charges in, makes the catch. Out number 1.
You know, watching Jacob Turner, his best start last year was against Cincinnati in September, middle of September. He went 7 innings, just a couple of hits, no runs, picked up the win and a 4-0 win. So it's there. It's in there for Jacob Turner. We just didn't see it in the spring.
Rick Ankiel, who started the season with the Houston Astros.
And that didn't go well for him.
Well, it started okay for him. I believe he homered right out of the chute. Was released. And the Mets picked him up. Takes a strike on the outside corner. If you're a baseball fan, you know Ankiel's story. A top pitching prospect and a top pitcher with the St. Louis Cardinals out of Port St. Lucie. Lost his control and decided to try to get back to the big leagues as an outfielder, and did it.
And he earned his way back.
Absolutely.
As a hitter. I mean, he went to the minor leagues. He hit home runs.
We saw him, obviously, when he got back to the big leagues with the Cardinals, then a run with the Washington Nationals. Ankiel pulls one. Dobbs way off the line. Turner is there, and he gets the bag in time.
I think the more, it's kind of a catch-22, the more Greg Dobbs has played first base, I think we've seen improvement in his defense, covering ground, making plays. Good feed there to Turner.
The progress of Logan Morrison continues as Morrison, all signs indicate 8 to 10 days. And everyone has their fingers crossed that he continues to progress, and in 8, 10, 12 days is able to join the ball club. Then Dobbs can go back to his regular role of providing left-handed pop off the bench and an occasional start.
Maybe an occasional start at third base even.
Absolutely. Marlon Byrd has homered in his last 2 games against the Yankees.
And speaking, Rich, of progress, the progress of Jake Marisnick took a gigantic leap in his game last night. How about Jake Marisnick for Double-A Jacksonville, 3 for 5, 2 grand slams, and 9 RBIs. So the average coming up. He had a little slow spell. That's why he's at 248 now.
Well, that whole outfield.
Yelich had a couple of hits in that game, so he's looks like he snapped out of his little slump.
That whole outfield of Ozuna, Marisnik, and Yelich, remember, all injured themselves in that last week of spring and opened the season on the disabled list at Double-A outfield.
Good job. Good slider.
Yeah, Jacob Turner looks sharp. Strikes out Marlon Byrd. Bottom of the second inning. These folks are headed to see Tommy Hutton because they heard he said this copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Miami Marlins and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Miami Marlins. I think Tommy may have been misquoted, but I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, don't quote me on that.
Sean Markham gets Marcell Ozuna, Chris Coghlan, and then Ed Lucas. And Ozuna climbs in 15 straight. His average sitting at 314.
In a lot of the games, Rich, he's been able to extend that streak early, first or second AB.
One of the things when you look at Ozuna and you hope a guy like Ozuna develops power, develops the ability to drive in runs, he's done everything he can do to drive in runs. He just hasn't been in the spot very often. Davis over, and it's out of his reach. And that's an indictment of the top of the lineup. The Marlins are not getting on base. They have the worst on-base percentage in all of baseball. Pierre, Polanco not getting on base.
And I think what happens in that situation when you do get that, and we've seen it firsthand, when you do get that opportunity to finally get some men in scoring position, I think everybody puts a little bit too much pressure on themselves.
And Ozuna is hitting .455 with runners in scoring position. Drives that ball to right center field. Ankiel is there, and he makes the catch. So think about the RBIs and the production he would have if the Marlins were just getting on base at a league average clip.
Good swing there, drove that ball, and that's exactly what Mike Redmond was talking about before the game.
I liked the tone of Mike Redmond last night.
I loved it. I loved it.
It's one thing to have a young team that is struggling. It's another thing. And I think Red has kind of reached the point where enough's enough, and you got to take accountability, whether you're playing in the minor leagues or the major leagues or whatever league. Markham misses into Chris Coghlan. Coghlan's hit in 6 straight. He's had a nice run.
And with Juan Pierre in the lineup, Coughlin, who led off the ball game last night, moves down to the number 5 spot tonight.
Talking to Chris about his pinch hitting role, how he excelled there, and how it led to success right now. He said one of the things it taught him is you have to be ready from the very first pitch of the at bat. Very much a pinch hitter's mentality, and a swing and a miss at a breaking ball, and that's kind of carried over to his at bats as a regular player. And Markham was just utterly fabulous his last time out. 12 strikeouts, no walks against Atlanta. Pitch misses in. Of course, he didn't get a decision. He has yet to win a ball game this year.
It's amazing. He pitched one game this year out of the bullpen. You may remember that. It was that 15-inning game the Mets and Marlins played right here at Marlins Park.
Coughlin sprays a ground ball. It crawls up right's arm, but David makes a nice adjustment and throws out Coughlin.
Yeah, Markham went a third of inning and 2/3 and gave up 4 hits and a couple of runs and took the loss in that 15-inning game.
Now, I don't know, Tommy, you may have been on the Phillies for this run as Ed Lucas stands in, getting his first big league start.
What year?
1976.
I was there.
All right, well, Met pitchers have not issued a walk in their last 3 games. The last National League team to go 4 consecutive games without giving up a walk, the Phillies, June of '76. As we said, there's a long laundry list of superlatives that have followed the Mets down to Miami from that series against the Yankees. Lucas goes after a fastball, sends it out to center. Sean Markham doing what he does best, and that's get outs. He has retired all 6 that he's faced. Scoreless here in the top of the 3rd. And tomorrow, remember, it's a 4:10 start. So at 4:10, the gates will open, and it's the all-you-can-eat seats for just $27. You'll enjoy unlimited KM beef franks, peanuts, popcorn, nachos, Pepsis, and water. After the game, a live performance from Cirque Dreams, presented by Office Depot. Go to Marlins.com for more details. Ike Davis up the middle. Ed Lucas behind the bag, and he throws to first. Lucas said the play he had to make last night, his first play in the big leagues, was a real tough one.
It wasn't an easy play.
It was a little chopper over the mound. He had to make it on the run, and he kind of said with a very dry sense of humor, you know what, it probably was a good thing it was tough because I didn't have to think about it. There it is, spoken like an Ivy Leaguer. Here's the first pitch to Markham. Let's check in with Craig Minervini. Craig?
Well, it's been a very emotional week for Holly Meyer, who is Ed Lucas's fiancée, and the family was here, and you know, we all told the story here. 4 years at Dartmouth, 10 years in the minor leagues. Finally made it up here. What are your emotions like?
Oh, sorry. I mean, obviously they're on edge. I'm just so happy for him and so excited for him, and I'm trying to not make him nervous, but every time I'm around him, I'm just like tears and smiles. And
I was going to say you're as nervous as an expectant mother, but you are.
yeah, exactly. And that on top of it, I feel like our child is like, what is going on?
But you're on the edge of your seat here. I mean, the dream for him. I mean, he was pretty. He tried to keep it composed as well as he can. He's a very articulate guy talking to him, but emotionally, it's got to be very, very moving for you guys.
It is. It's 2013 has been a very good year for us. Very good year. He's just worked so hard, and he's earned it. You know, he's at that point where he has earned it, and he can now say that, which is just so, it means so much to him.
I'm sure you've done a lot to keep him going. Some people would say, how do you do it? How have you guys done it as a couple? Has Ed done it?
No, it's been fun. Everyone that knows him knows that he just perseveres, and the minors have been, it's been a journey, and it is what it is. But now we're here, and he's so excited to be here.
His parents were here yesterday. They had to get back. And I'm sorry we got the last out here, but it's a great story, Holly. We're glad you could share it with us, and enjoy rooting on Ed.
It is. Thank you so much.
And a baby boy coming.
Yes, baby boy. Yep.
Name suggestions, send them in on an email Tuesday, okay?
Yes, please. Thank you.
I'll be back for more in a moment.
And hello to you. And you, and you, and you. Tomorrow, we start things at 3:30. Remember, it's a 4:10 start tomorrow, so 3:30 for Marlins Live. Craig Minervini, Jeff Conine will be sporting their new Tommy Bahama polos on the set, so you want to tune in for that fashion show. Niner will be on the catwalk. Greg Dobbs, Jeff Mathis, and then Jacob Turner against Sean Markham. This game has progressed into the third. Both pitchers have looked sharp.
Well, there are few hitters and very few that have a little history against Markham. Greg Dobbs, 5 ABs, 2 for 5. Polanco's seen him a little bit, 6 for 15 for Placido.
Markham with that big lollipop curve.
If you're a left-handed batter against Markham, you have to think center field to left center. If you think pull, you're going to play right into his hand.
We've got a pair of pitchers from Missouri. Markham from Excelsior Springs, Missouri. He pitched at the University of Missouri as a freshman and then went on to Southwest Missouri State, where he played shortstop and pitched. Season ticket holder, Tommy, for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Also one of the many pitchers that has had Tommy John surgery. Had Tommy John surgery, missed all of 2009.
Full count, 3-2. But this is high drama here. I mean, the Mets haven't walked anybody in almost a week. And Dobbs, on an off-speed pitch, rolls it out to second. Murphy fires to first in time. Well, Markham had the 12 strikeout, no walk game as he walks out of the Cholula Hot Sauce spotlight. Born in Kansas City, we told you he's a Missouri guy. The family crest, the Markham family crest, is tattooed on his right shoulder.
I mean, we give you the scouting report and then we delve into it a little deeper.
That's a little deeper than I really want to know, though. I'm glad it was on his shoulder. Here's the 0-1 to Jeff Mathis. Mathis with a swing and a miss.
Been a slow start for the veteran catcher, coming back from that broken collarbone.
Now Mathis has seen Markham. Mathis in the American League with the Angels for many years. And a soft line to first. Ike Davis takes care of it. Miami doesn't have a hit. Markham has struck out just one. That was Polanco back in the first.
All right, Rich, anytime you look at scores early on and you see that the Tigers have an early lead, 2-1.
Yeah.
What's your first thought?
Well, Miggy.
Yeah, Miggy. 16th home run, a 2-run shot, and now 61 RBIs for Miguel Cabrera.
Turner swinging and missing. Young pitchers. Really very rare that you get a young pitcher who is accomplished with the bat. 0-2. Down low. I mean, you don't get to hit in the minors, especially as accelerated as players are now coming through the minor leagues, because you don't get to hit until you get to Double-A, and then it's only National League against National League affiliates. And Turner gets dusted off by Markham. He's retired everyone he's faced, this Sean Markham. scoreless so far. MLB.TV celebrating 11 years. Millions of fans have subscribed. You can as well. Watch every out-of-market game live online on your favorite mobile and connected devices in HD quality with MLB.TV Premium. Visit MLB.TV today. MLB.TV, baseball everywhere.
Well, so far, a terrific start from Jacob Turner. We talked about the fact that he had a couple of starts against the Mets last year, and in those 2 starts had an ERA at 2.84.
He's back up to the heart of the order with Daniel Murphy, David Wright, and Lucas Duda.
Show you the difference in these 2 pitchers. We'll get a shot of Markham when he goes back out there, but Turner likes to work from the third base side of the pitching rubber. That's where he sets up. He likes the angle there. But Markham is over on the first base side of the rubber.
You will see pitching coaches and pitchers tinker with that when things aren't going well. Guys sometimes will move around to give their breaking ball a better angle. Try to get in on hitters.
That's pretty much what it's about. It's all about angles.
Counts 2-1 to Daniel Murphy. Murphy rolls one to first. Dobbs gets it to Turner. And the Murphy single back in the first is the only hit in the ball game for anybody right now.
And the Dobbs-Turner combination's been a good one. That's the 3rd time that Dobbs has gotten a ground ball and flipped it to Jacob Turner, who's gotten over there nicely.
Dobbs has done a nice job of getting open tonight. Here's David Wright.
Shaking the defender pretty well.
You know, you look at the Mets and the Marlins, and you look at the everyday rosters, and there really isn't a huge jump as far as overwhelming talent by the Mets. The Mets are a better team right now. And one of the reasons why is the guy at the plate. Their best player is David Wright. He's in there every night.
He's gotten big hits. David Wright's hitting .370 with runners in scoring position this year.
Now, David Wright doesn't have a whole lot of protection around him. No offense to Lucas Duda, who has hit 9 home runs.
He had a nice series against the Yankees.
And John Buck had the hot start as well, but a swing and a miss. And Turner, ball in the dirt. Mathis dug it out.
Well, it's nice to see Jacob Turner mixing things up. Breaking ball's been there. The fastball he's worked in and out. Got right to chase that one.
Lucas Duda takes outside.
Hello, everybody. Barney here.
Hey, Mom.
That was a paid appearance by the gentleman in the odd hat.
I think he's made a couple of visits to the Budweiser balcony. Get over to the juice bar.
Duda rifles one into right. Lucas Duda, the big USC Trojan, has himself a base hit. And here comes John Buck.
I remember reading an article one time about Duda that at USC, one year he had a broken wrist. And it's funny how sometimes injuries do this. And the broken wrist, when he recovered from that and started to play, helped him hit to all fields. He said that really helped him think about the other field and made him a better hitter.
Now Buck, and he swings and misses. Reminds you of the story of former Met and Marlin Carlos Delgado, who when he was a kid, the field in which he took batting practice, right field was short, and if you hit it out, the ball didn't come back. And
didn't have a huge supply of baseballs.
He didn't have a lot of
either.
baseballs, so when his father or his buddies threw batting practice to him, as I remember the story, Carlos said he used to have to hit the ball to left center.
Yeah, the other thing about Jacob Turner, last year was a busy year for him. A year where, you know, you look at a young player, and Turner's just 22. An unsettling year, I guess would be a good way to put it. I mean, he was with 3 different teams in the minor leagues. He was in Lakeland, he was in Toledo, then after the trade he was in New Orleans, and then spent time here, so he was all over the place.
Well, and for a young pitcher, that's a lot of different voices to listen to, because you're listening to a minor league pitching coach in one organization, then the big league pitching coach, and then you're in another organization, and you're in 2 levels there as well. Buck with a swing and a miss. Mathis smothers it, fires to first in time. Turner has looked sharp. He has struck out 3 in a scoreless game.
Go to the bottom of the 4th inning. The Mets coming off a nice run as they swept the Yankees in a couple of games at Yankee Stadium, and then they won the 2 over at Citi Field. A 4-game series sweep on the season for the Mets. Have got some big hits in the series of all kinds at Citi Field, the last couple at Yankee Stadium prior. Some home runs, clutch hitting, and all of a sudden they've won 5 straight games, doing it against the Yankee team that in the past they have struggled with. Of the 17 series since interleague play began in 1997, the Yankees have won 8. The Mets had only won 3 of the previous 16 with 6 ties. This is the only sweep they've ever had. It's our Coors Light cold hard fact. The Yanks had a 6-0 sweep in 2003, but it's the Mets pulling off their first ever sweep of the Yankees, 4 games to none. Our Coors Light cold hard fact is right here. And it's the first time they've ever done that in this series, which used to be known as the Mayor's Trophy game prior, when it didn't count. I don't know if they still call it the Mayor's Trophy. Now it's the Subway Series pretty much. But a good run for the Mets, guys. Back to you.
Yeah, part of a 5-game run. It's brought the Mets to 22 and 29.
Yeah, I think ever since Giuliani got out of there, they call it the Subway Series.
Juan Pierre against Markham. Now, if you're just joining us, the Mets, you saw the hitting that the Mets did in that last video montage of that series, but it was pitching. We talked about the Mets' terrific pitching, not allowing a walk in their last 3 games. Pierre cranks one foul. The note, as it goes further, the last National League team to go 4 consecutive games without a walk was a team that Tommy Hutton was a member of, the Phillies.
Pretty good rotation.
Back in 1976. AT&T U-verse Twitter poll. Mets win the Subway Series. Are they better than the Yankees? Yo, meet the Mets.
Well, it just depends, this answer, how many Met fans chime in and how many Yankee fans chime in.
Anyways, as we were saying, the rotation of that 76 Phillies team, pretty impressive.
Yeah, it was a team that got to postseason, but when you had Steve Carlton anchoring the rotation, he threw strikes. Jim Cott, a lot of strikes. Jim Lomborg, veteran pitcher, terrific guy. Larry Christensen, young pitcher.
Pierre lines it into left field, a base hit. And Miami has their first hit of the night.
So a couple of lefties, some righties, and a lot of guys who threw strikes. This is that approach that lefties have to have, and Markham got the pitch up. It's a little easier to have that approach when he makes a mistake and gets the pitch in that area. And we talked about Markham, how he, in contrast to Jacob Turner, Markham's over on that first base side of the pitcher's rubber.
Polanco was called out on strikes in the first. Markham has struck out 2. He hasn't walked anybody yet. Dietrich on deck. So from the stretch, and he misses in. Joe Espada.
It's been a ball club, Rich, that the Marlins have hit pretty well. In the 6 games that the Marlins and Mets have played, the Marlins have a .305 batting average.
Tomorrow's 4:10 start is a Jose Fernandez start. Colin McHugh will take the spot of John Neese. There you see the stolen base leaders. Juan Pierre been sitting on 13 for a while. He's running, and Markham steps off and throws him out. Pierre started to lean, then took a step, and then figured, what the heck? I've already started. I might as well keep going.
You're going to get a lot of pitchers and fool them in this particular play. And once he takes off, but Markham, a veteran, he did exactly what the textbook says. Don't panic, step off, and make a good throw to second, and his throw to Murphy was right there.
Pierre tried that matrix-type slide to get around the tag. Polanco swings and misses. One and 2. So Jose Fernandez, 4:10 tomorrow. Matt Harvey on display on Sunday. He's a guy that you want to come out and watch, as well as Fernandez. So Fernandez tomorrow at 4:10. Harvey on Sunday at 1:10. Kevin Slowey makes the start on Sunday for the Fish.
Harvey 5-0 with a 1.85 ERA. 84 strikeouts in 78 innings.
Two hopper for right. And the Marlins are not barreling up anything against Sean Markham right now.
No, the hardest hit ball tonight was the line drive single by Juan Pierre. Yeah, Markham had 3 years, 2007. Remember, he missed 09, Tommy John surgery, but then 2010 and 11, where he had 12 or more wins. So a very consistent veteran and pitcher out there.
We're talking about the difference between the Mets and the Marlins in the starting 9. David Wright, a big difference. In the starting rotation, Matt Harvey is a big difference maker. Tommy, you just rattled off his numbers.
Spectacular.
The other starting pitchers for the Mets are 7 and 20 with a 4.97 ERA.
However, one of the reasons they've played well lately, especially in that series against the Yankees, their last 9 games, their starters have ERA combined of about 2.90.
Absolutely.
So it's been a lot better.
All the other guys have started to pull on the rope. Dylan G was terrific. Dietrich with the count 1-2. Toyota Trend focuses on the Mets starting pitchers. 2-2 with a 2.91 ERA. Actually, their starters in those 58 2/3 innings. Look at the walks and strikeouts. Change up and a cue shot off the end of the bat. Right flips on over. And the Marlins are struggling against Sean Markham right now. Show. Time now for the Just for Men Auto Stop Foolproof Stat. Most hits in a Major League debut as a player among active managers. Look at some of the guys that had big starts. How many catchers can you count in there? All but Dale Swaim.
All but Swaim.
Rick Ankiel, a hanging breaking ball, puts it in the air to Juan Pierre. 1 pitch and 1 out in the 5th. Jacob Turner's been outstanding. The Marlins have to really like what they've seen over the 4 innings from the 22-year-old. That'll bring up Marlon Byrd. Let's check in with Craig Minervini.
Well, it's interesting because, you know, on Fridays we get a chance to talk to Mike Redmond. And things haven't been going well, so we tried to keep it a little light today. So I mentioned May 31st to him, the significance, and he had no idea that this was the day 15 years ago that he made his Major League debut. We brought it up to him in our interview with him on Marlins Live Tonight. And here's the moment for him at, I believe, his old county stadium there. 15 years ago today, 3 for 3, including a shot out of the ballpark. And when I brought it up to Mike, he had a big smile. He said, "I'll never forget that day." So we did forget it today, but he never forgot the moment. 3 for 3. There was a word that Dick Williams was 4 for 5
But that was in the second game of a doubleheader. His debut was in game 1, and he went 0 for 1. So Redmond stands out as #1 at that 3 for 3 with the homer.
Red didn't hit too many long balls.
He did not. The ball you saw his first base hit, that was Mike Redmond. Got that red zone in right field.
And Redmond wasn't a top prospect. He wasn't a guy that was fast-tracked to the big league. He had to toil long and hard in the minors, and he had to get a break.
Hey, the organization was ready to fast-track him to being a minor league manager.
He had to get a break to even get into a major league uniform. And when he talks about getting an opportunity and making the most of it, and he says that a lot about the guys that are getting an opportunity this year, he means it, because Redmond is one of those guys that, had he not gone 3 for 3 in his debut or had a nice start to his career, would not have lasted as long as he did.
Well, you know what? In that first year, when he got that opportunity in 1998, in 37 games, Red hit .331. Played a little bit more in 99, and he hit .302.
The amazing thing to me about Redmond is you look at his career average in the big leagues. For a backup catcher, you're used to seeing guys that hit .215, .220.
His career average in the big leagues about 25 points higher than his career average in the minor leagues.
Fastball misses low. Mathis is on his way out to talk to Turner.
There were numerous years, 5 or 6 years, that Red hit over 300. So he wasn't not only a backup catcher who did a terrific job handling pitchers, whoever he was catching that night, but he gave you a battle at the plate. He had that incredible run, those incredible numbers against Tom Glavine.
Turner catches a corner.
Thing here with Ike Davis, who's really struggled this year, if you can get him to hit a ball on the ground at an infielder, you got a double play. He does not run well at all.
Runner goes. Turner steps off, throws to second. How bizarre is this?
Yeah, you can do it. I can do the same thing.
We've seen it happen twice in the last 2 half innings.
And we saw Sean Markham, a veteran, handle the situation well. And so did the 22-year-old Jacob Turner. Watch how he calmly steps off and makes a good throw, perfect throw to Ed Lucas, the shortstop. That's also with a little help. We can't hear it, but I guarantee Jeff Mathis, I guarantee infielders, Greg Dobbs, they're over there yelling, step off, step off.
Slicing liner that Coughlin's not going to get.
How big is that now?
And it's off the scoreboard. It's incredibly large because Davis's double does no damage but puts him in scoring position. You've got the pitcher Sean Markham coming up.
Mike Redmond, by the way, against Tom Glavine, and we've talked about this before, 21 for 48. There's a two-seamer out over the plate. Davis hasn't had a whole lot of swings like that this year, but a good one that time.
You know, one final note on Redmond, and we've been talking hitting and the home run that we saw and his batting average. Redmond still holds the American League record for the longest streak of total chances without an error by a catcher. That's incredible. 1,474 total chances. The streak was snapped in May of 2010 as a Cleveland Indian. And it was his first error since moving to the American League. And remember, he moved in 2005.
So all those years with the Twins, 0 errors.
Yes, until 2010.
When he was an Indian.
Yeah. Markham up there, the count's 2-0. Turner with Davis at second.
Outfield can play a little more shallow with Markham up there, so that if Markham were to get a base hit would make it very difficult for Davis to score.
And Markham can get a base hit. He's 3 for 12 on the season. Went around and it's 2-2. There's Davis. His double, the third hit for the Mets. Miami has just one hit against the man at the plate, Sean Markham. 2-2. Remember, in Markham's bio, he did play shortstop in college as well as pitch.
You talked about the high school that Turner went to in St. Louis, Westminster Christian. Andy Bennis's son, Mike Matheny's son, Todd Worrell, they all went to that same high school, not at the same time. So there was always some pretty good pitching instruction going on.
Tough hop, and Polanco picks it and throws him out. That leaves Davis in scoring position. Halfway through, still no runs. By Honda. Visit your Honda dealer for great lease and finance deals on fuel-efficient Honda. Yeah, television announcing oftentimes is a narrative form, and there really wasn't need for it there.
Sometimes silence is the best thing.
Pictures tell the story, Tommy. Marcell Ozuna comes plateward with Chris Coghlan and Ed Lucas coming up. Sean Markham has been dynamite. Can't even speak now. Dynamite for the Mets.
Hey, while we can still speak, by the way, we need to certainly send our well wishes to Jack McKeon. Jack on Monday up in North Carolina is going to have bypass surgery, but he's doing fine. He's in the hospital, probably watching a little baseball. There's a base hit.
And Ozuna now at 16 straight.
And happy that Ozuna now has a 16-game hitting streak. So Jack, if you're watching, Best of luck on Monday.
Craig Minervini has more.
Well, guys, one of the stories is that Jack's been going around. They thought they were going to do the surgery actually the day before, and he's getting a little antsy in there, but apparently he's walking up and getting everybody going and walking around the ward and the floor there at the hospital, kind of with a rah-rah approach. I think he's taking over the managerial duties on the floor there, but he's in very good spirits, and said he just wants to get it over with and come down here after a few weeks of rest and see some baseball. He's hoping prior to the All-Star break. So we wish him the best. He certainly looked great when we saw him last time, and he's one of the great Marlins of all time.
Chris Coughlin, a line drive into right field. That's a base hit. Ozuna thought about going first to third. Bird's throw is cut. So Ozuna extends his streak to 16 straight. Coughlin extends his to 7 straight. And the 2 hottest hitters for the Marlins over the last 2 weeks have hits to open up the bottom of the 5th.
That's a good way to start things, a little bit off the end of the bat. Good job, I thought, by Ozuna. He picked it up. He realized Bird wasn't going to catch this ball right away. A little bit of hesitation, but once he saw that, he took off, and there's no need to challenge the situation to throw with nobody out.
All right, Ed Lucas now in his first big league start, the 31-year-old out of Port Orange, Florida, Spruce Creek High School. Shortens the bunt, pops it up, and it's foul. Joe Espada down to talk to Lucas.
Yeah, you want to make sure when you have somebody that's new to the club, you're going to flash through the signs, but in this situation, especially with runs at a premium, you want to make sure he knows the sign.
You've got Greg Dobbs, then Jeff Mathis, and then the pitcher spot following Lucas, who flied to center. 0 for 2 in the big leagues. Still looking for that first big league hit. Drops the bunt down, and it's a good one. Wright will pick it up and fire to first in time.
You know what? When you've spent all those years, almost 3,300 at-bats in the minor leagues, and you haven't been a top prospect or a star, you've been asked to bunt a lot. And a nice job by Ed Lucas to get the bunt down in a perfect spot. The only play that Wright had was to first base.
And it feels good to get to a ball club, a new club. Lucas didn't spend a whole lot of time around everybody in spring training. Been in New Orleans, and to help him out with a sacrifice bunt. Now this, to be expected by Terry Collins to walk Dobbs. Dobbs usually so dependable with runners in scoring position and less than 2 outs. And you've got Mathis, who's on deck.
Yeah, Mathis, who has struggled. You have the pitcher, and Jacob Turner up next.
However, what this does is breaks the run of Mets pitching without a walk. Wouldn't you know, it's an intentional walk in the bottom of the 5th.
Well,
so
they'll certainly put an asterisk by that.
Your 76 Phillies are safe.
Oh, that's good. We'll give Kitty a call. I'll talk to Lefty in Durango. When you get up to Situate, Massachusetts, and you have dental needs, we'll talk to Jim Lomborg, who's a dentist now.
You can bring your team to see the Marlins and experience Marlins baseball through a variety of affordable group packages. Marlins Park, get you air-conditioned comfort, incredible food and beverage options, and premium group entertainment. Reserve your group today, 1-877-MARLINS, or go to marlins.com/groups.
And this, remember the last time we were in Philly, Larry Christensen walked in the booth to say hi. But we got them all covered. Dan Worthen, the interesting thing about this run that the Met pitchers have been on, Dan Worthen, major league pitcher, but in his time as a major league pitcher, one of the things he struggled with most, control. But he's become a very, very good major league pitching coach.
So for the Marlins to have anything out of this inning, it's up to Jeff Mathis. The Mets know it. The Marlins know it. It's no secret that the Marlins have grounded into a ton of double plays this year. 53 of them, and 11 have come against the Mets. That one off of John Buck's mask. One career grand slam.
Mathis needs to take out of this the fact that he hit a ball pretty good. Line drive to first base his last time up.
Arizona has bounced into 54, one more than the Marlins. The other thing Mathis has going for him here is that Markham is not an overpowering strikeout type guy. Even though he struck out 12 and didn't walk anybody.
That's what was amazing when I saw that box score.
Bases filled with Fish, Ozuna and Coghlan extending their hit streak. Dobbs intentionally walked after the Lucas bunt.
So Ozuna now has the second longest rookie hitting streak in Marlins history. He was tied with Chuck Carr at 15.
Edgar Renteria at 22, the top one. Mathis swings, misses. 1-2. The Mets, of course, sweeping the Yankees in 4. The Yankees at home against Boston. And it's 2-0 Yankees in the top of the 5th. CC Sabathia, John Lester matchup. Popped up, and that's going to get out of play. Cubs are playing a little bit better. They beat Arizona 7-2.
Back-to-back games with a grand slam. And Travis Wood, their pitcher, had a grand slam yesterday. Scott Hairston, grand slam today.
Nationals and Braves are playing in Atlanta, and the Nationals have a 2-1 lead going into the 4th. Braves dominated that series early in the season. 1-2. Mathis rolls it up the middle, out there, out there. A dozen double plays the Marlins have bounced into against the Mets this season. And this inning fizzles here in the 5th. And the Red Sox take on Robinson Cano and the Yankees. Or we talked about the Nationals and the Braves. Baseball Night in America tomorrow, 7 Eastern, 6 Central. And as a reminder, Marlins Mets, 4 o'clock start, 3:30 for Marlins Live here on Fox Sports Florida. This has been a battle between Sean Markham and Jacob Turner. Turner making his 2013 Marlins debut. He, as Tommy pointed out, made his big league debut with the Tigers a couple seasons ago. Last year, dealt in the deal that sent Anibal Sanchez and Omar Infante to the Tigers, two of the bigger pieces now in uniform for the Marlins.
You know, another one of those pieces acquired, Brian Flynn, pitcher who's having a decent year.
Rob Brantley, of course, the other piece, along with Turner. Omar Quintanilla. And Quintanilla takes down low. Quintanilla, a veteran, 31 years old. Slashes one over the head of Dietrich into right field. Ozuna picks it up. Quintanilla, a longtime utility extra infielder for the Colorado Rockies.
That's where we saw him most. I remember seeing Quintanilla in Denver, Coors Field.
He's an Amezaga type. Versatile.
Turned a few double plays with Tulowitzki.
So a base hit by Quintanilla to open the 6th. Here's Murphy now. Murphy singled in the 1st. "17 doubles for Murphy. Second in the National League, Jay Bruce with 18. Always near the top of that category. Since the start of last season, he's 3rd in the National League. Oh, 0-2. Reds and Pirates tonight in Pittsburgh, 2-0 Cincinnati. Pittsburgh is 34-20. What a nice run for the Pirates, who find themselves a game and a half behind St. Louis in the Central, with the 2nd best record in the National League.
Pittsburgh fans are saying, all right, just want you to continue with the second half of the season.
In fact, the top 3 records in the National League are all in the Central. St. Louis at 35-18. The aforementioned Pirates at 34-20. And then the Reds at 33-21. Washington, amazingly, is 27-27. Phillies are 2 under, while the Braves have a 5.5 game lead at 32-21 in the East. Drive to left center. That ball's well hit. Coughlin racing, track, makes the catch. In front of the scoreboard, Quintanilla races back. As Murphy mutters to himself, takes a long look back.
Murphy right now saying, well, you know what, in old City Field, this is also an out. Maybe in New City Field he has a chance, but great job by Coughlin to cover a lot of ground on a ball that was slicing away from it.
Now David Wright, who is 0 for 2. Mets have been limited to 4 hits. The Marlins have just 3. Quintanilla has a miniature lead at first base.
Yeah, even though he's an Amezaga type, a smaller guy, he's not a base stealer. We're talking about Brian Flynn, the other piece in that trade, one of the other pieces. 6'7" lefty out of Wichita State, who started the year this year in Double-A. Had a 1.57 ERA after 4 starts in Double-A. He's up in New Orleans right now and has had a good minor league record with his years with the Tigers, now in the Marlins organization.
Despite that tiny lead, the Marlins convinced that Quintanilla might be up to something. Right. Lucas. Dietrich's turn. And Wright is safe at first. Wright still runs well, and that ball was not hit hard.
Yeah, that ball really didn't have double play written on it because of the way it was hit. Good effort by Lucas and by Dietrich. But the chopper, we've seen Dietrich make good turns. Throw a little low, but picked by Greg Dobbs, but never had a chance really for 2. Now Wright is more apt to steal than Quintanilla.
That's right. The Mets haven't stolen a lot of bases this year, 23. But Wright has 11 of those. He's 11 of 12. It's one of the things as the Marlins develop, as they get the Yelich's here, Morrison gets healthy, Stanton arrives. A year or 2 down the line, you hope that the Marlins are able to build a team that has some team speed. In this ballpark, a ballpark that's not going to be a place where a lot of home runs are hit. It's a ballpark where range will be essential in the outfield. Miami has just 17 stolen bases, or excuse me, let me backtrack on that. The Marlins have 30 stolen bases this year. Very good percentage, 30 of 36. And one of the problems is they haven't been in a position to run much. When you're down late in ball games, down by 2 or 3 runs, you're going to shut the running game down.
Yeah, and in talking to Mike Redmond, he also hasn't found a lot of situations. And you have to have the ingredients to send runners, to have hit and runs, because if you have swing and miss guys, it's tough to send runners. You're going to run yourself into outs.
Lucas Duda has bounced out and singled. Left field, Pierre makes a catch. Jacob Turner, 6 scoreless innings. And a nice start to his big league season in 13. and Marlins. Coors Light Freeze Can brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. Marlon Bird trying to steal second. Jacob Turner just in time to get the out at second base. There has not been a whole lot of drama, folks, in this ball game, and that's because Sean Markham has been sharp. Jacob Turner has been sharp, and neither offense has been on it. The most anxiety that Markham has had was in last inning, the fifth, with the bags loaded and one out. You got Jeff Mathis to bounce into a inning-ending double play. Turner, Pierre, Polanco.
Each pitcher has made an alert step off and throw to second base on an attempted steal.
Turner strikes out for the second time. 3 strikeouts for Markham. He has walked a batter. That was intentional. FPL scoreboard. We talked about the Cubs playing well. Pittsburgh's been outstanding lately, but the Reds lead in Pittsburgh. They're delayed in St. Louis with the Giants and the Cardinals ready to go in that one.
It's a Steven Strasburg start in Atlanta.
Shelby Miller and Matt Cain in that Cardinals San Francisco game. And Atlanta has a run. It's 2-1 Washington. Pierre takes a breaking ball up. Juan Pierre flied out in his single. JP bunts. Markham pounces and gets the out. Two outs here in the 6th inning.
Yeah, I guess they hope they're not as delayed in St. Louis as the Kansas City Royals were last night. The game ended about 3 or so in the morning. I saw where the umpiring crew that was at that game had the day game today in Chicago, and got to Chicago, all 4 of them in a limo. They just took a limo drive to Chicago. It probably went right to the ballpark.
That's one of the things that I think people don't realize about umpires.
That was the Joe West crew.
Is that their life on the road is a lot tougher than the player's life on the road. Quintanilla flips on over to first in time, and just like that, Sean Markham goes 1-2-3 in the 6th. Dover International Speedway for the FedEx 400, and it all benefits Autism Speaks. And it starts on Sunday only on Fox, 12:30 Eastern.
Yeah, the Dover Blue Monster.
John Buck for the Mets. And Turner at the knees. What have you liked about Jacob Turner tonight?
I've liked his aggressiveness, his free and easy delivery, his command, good sliders, the curveball, and he's moved his fastball in and out. He's been extremely impressive. We did not see this Jacob Turner in spring training.
Ground ball in the hole. Lucas knocks it down, and Buck has a base hit. Well, 1 for 3 day for John Buck. Rick Ankiel, Marlon Byrd now. 7th inning here in Miami of a scoreless game. Just the 5th hit for the Mets. Miami has just 3 hits.
Good pitch, just out of the reach of Polanco, and even if Lucas gets to that, I don't think he makes a play. So an infield base hit for Buck.
Ground ball. Dietrich shovels. Lucas turns. Nicely done. Ankiel bounces into a double play. And Lucas.
Just think about it. All the time that the guys practice turning double plays in spring training, these guys haven't been together. Dietrich was in Double-A. Lucas was in Triple-A. There's the backhand flip. Lucas with a nice turn, and they made it look easy. 11 ground ball outs for Jacob Turner.
Marlon Byrd takes the strike. By the way, in that Atlanta-Washington game, Steven Strasburg left after throwing only 2 innings, showing signs of discomfort. More details as they become available. That's just a quick blurb on MLB.com.
Things get worse for the Nationals. They're playing without Bryce Harper. I think Detweiler had to go on the disabled list.
Lucas backhands. Strong throw. 7-pitch inning. Dobbs keeps his foot on the bag. And Turner is through the 7th. Scoreless still. catch a line, catch a Marlin in the Florida Keys and Key West. Sean Markham keeps on rolling. Here's your game summary, and it's all about pitching.
Yeah, not a lot of offense in this summer. You saw that good slider by Jacob Turner. He's used all the pitches. He's picked up a few strikeouts. He's made good pitches when he's needed, but so has Sean Markham. He's gotten the defense. Both teams have played good defense. Both Markham and Turner have been just tremendous.
A frustrating night for the hitters. And I guess a great example that you don't have to throw 95 miles an hour to get outs in the big leagues.
Both have kept their pitch count down, too.
Dietrich is lined out, bounced out. He opens the bottom of the 7th. Marcell Ozuna, Chris Coghlan right behind him.
This is one of those games, Rich, that Terry Collins, Mets manager, will have to make a decision next inning because Markham is due up second. We just finished a little stint over in St. Pete in the American League. You don't have to think about that if you have a pitcher cruising along the way he is.
Both pitch counts pretty manageable at this point. You see Markham's at 75. Turner sits at 81 in his 7 innings. 3 singles, Pierre, Ozuna, and Coghlan. And that's it. Dietrich pulls it foul. Dietrich is in a bit of a valley right now.
Yeah, he's been pitched too well. He's not squared up a lot of balls. Been out in front, and really you get a young hitter, and then you get a guy like Markham. He can work over a young hitter. Get to the big leagues, you think everybody throws 95.
Dietrich pulls the trigger on that one and drills it foul.
The guys in the minor leagues that have Markham's velocity usually don't last too long unless they have expert command. So you don't see guys very often like this in the minor leagues because they're not going to be around very long.
$16,493 tonight to watch the Mets and Marlins. Dietrich squared that one up, and he rolls it in the gap. That looks like 2. Around first, hustling to second. That's an easy double. Derek Dietrich plays the game at 100 miles an hour, whether he's out in the field or at the plate. And as soon as that one left the bat, he had double on his mind.
Time for Mike Redmond to say, somebody do something with this leadoff double now. Good way to start things. Out over the plate. He stayed on it. You knew he smelled double as soon as he hit it, too.
Earlier in the ballgame, we talked about Marcell Ozuna. He was having just a bang-up month of May, but hasn't produced a lot of RBIs. He has driven in just 10. And we pointed out he's done his job with runners in scoring position. He's hitting .455, but he's only had 22 at-bats with runners in scoring position. So here he is with Dietrich at second in a scoreless game in the 7th.
I think if you're Ozuna, especially off a guy like Markham, with nobody out, you're still thinking, okay, part of you's thinking drive the run in, but you need to drive the ball the other way, to the right side. If you misfire, hit a ground ball, at least you have Dietrich at third base. Oh, he was giving it a shot, and he just missed.
He just
Boy,
missed.
that's a nice effort, too.
First base umpire Chad Fairchild was right on the line. That ball kind of hugged the line all the way to the bag.
Now, Rich, with 2 strikes, you don't want Ozuna to think that. He's a young hitter. There's some a Placido Polanco with 2 strikes can still try to move that runner, but with 2 strikes on him, now you want to see him swing away and not think about moving the runner over to third.
Outfield playing Ozuna to right center. Dietrich, a leadoff double. Coughlin's on deck. Oh, he got jammed, and he dumps one into shallow right center field. It falls for a base hit.
And you know what? He was still trying to go the other way. Hats off to Ozuna. Hats off to Dietrich. Good base running on his part. He went about halfway to see if that ball was going to drop, and once it dropped, he was able to get to third. Watch Dietrich at second. Holds his ground, takes a peek, out of the reach of Murphy, and then Bird didn't have a play because Dietrich was on his way to third.
And because Bird had to tiptoe over Murphy. He didn't quite tiptoe over him. He clipped him. Now here's Coughlin. You've got speed at first with Ozuna. You've got Dietrich at third. Now the Marlins are set up here in a scoreless game. Coughlin has bounced to third and singled to right. Up the middle, back for 2.
Nasty changeup from Mark. Another one.
And another strike. It's 0-2.
2 good ones in a row.
Ed Lucas on deck. Do you think about
a squeeze if it gets to Lucas and it's still no score and runners at first and third? So you're thinking about that already.
Ozuna has stolen 3 bases this year. And Coughlin swings and misses and strikes out.
And saw 3 consecutive changeups. Boy, that one had some fade. It had some downward movement.
Now, here is Ed Lucas in his first major league start. As Tommy pointed out, a guy that spent a long time in the minor leagues finally gets an opportunity. He made his big league debut last night defensively, did get an at-bat. In this ball game, he has flied out and has a sacrifice bunt. Wouldn't this be a great spot for his first major league hit? Ozuna leaning. Mets bullpen suddenly is a buzz. The Troy Hawkins acting as the bullpen coach down there, walking behind the relievers.
Yeah, where's Ricky Bonas? A lot of things can happen here. You can put on plays. You can send Ozuna. You can think about squeeze. You certainly don't want to get picked off.
Yeah, Ozuna on the first throw over, kind of an awkward landing.
And it kind of grimaced. See his face.
Lucas, liner, right center, it falls for a base hit. And the Marlins have the lead, and Lucas with his first big league hit, and it's an RBI single.
What do you think is going through his mind right now? All those years, 10 years in the minor leagues, all those at-bats, all those opportunities, and his first big league hit drives in the only run of this game so far and puts his club ahead. And then on the play, because he picked it up, Ozuna races over to third. Good running on his part.
Whatever he grimaced about, he's okay. And there is the fiance. A terrific moment. And so Lucas has given Miami a 1-0 lead. And here's Dobbs. In the same spot, runners at the corners and one out.
Dobbs is a smart hitter. We know that. Yes, he's a little different hitter than Chris Coghlan, but he saw all those off-speed pitches that Markham threw to Coghlan to strike him out. He saw one, his first pitch right there.
And Dobbs sitting on a 2-0 pitch right now. Ozuna got a pair of hits tonight. Lucas has his first big league hit. Boy, all those years in the minor leagues, parts of 6 years in AAA. They all started 2004 for him. Royals, 8th round draft pick out of Dartmouth. The way the Marlins are scoring runs right now, you wouldn't be surprised if Dobbs has green light 3-0.
Oh, I guarantee he does.
And if he gets something to hit, comes out of his shoes.
Of course, all 3 hits in this inning by rookies.
It's out. And the bags are loaded. And here comes Mathis.
Still don't eliminate squeeze out of the thought process. Mike Redmond saw Mathis hit into that 4-6-3 double play in the 5th inning with the bases loaded.
Ed Lucas' fiance. Mathis. Oh, and 1. In this spot, Markham got the double play ball in the 5th. Mike Dunn in Miami's bullpen. Nationals without Bryce Harper for the weekend. That knee is still bothering him. Ozuna, Lucas, both with base hits. Dobbs walked. To center, and should be deep enough. Ankiel has a good arm, and he's going to throw it to third. Ozuna scores. Mathis comes through, and Miami gets 2 runs out of the inning.
hitters in this inning have done a terrific job. Capped off there by Jeff Mathis, getting the ball deep enough, getting it in the air, sac fly to bring home Ozuna from third base. You always have to think about that throw with Ankiel out there because of his arm. But you start with Dietrich, his double. Ozuna's at bat was a good at bat. Good job by Lucas, his first major league hit. The walk by Dobbs and the sacrifice fly.
So Brown will hit. Turner is in line to win this ball game. But obviously, we're a long ways from that. Markham's still in there, 93 pitches, more than after that visit. Jordan Brown. Two runs in, 2 outs, bottom 7. The odd thing about Markham's changeup is it's only 4 or 5 miles off his fastball.
Yeah, and you think about Jose Fernandez, 96, 97, 98 fastball. His changeup's about 88. His changeup's faster than Markham's fastball. It's all about deception.
Brown steps out. Miami has 3 hits here in the 7th. Brown goes down and flips it foul.
Jordan Brown's done a pretty good job in his few at-bats, few appearances, and has usually gone up there and given Redmond a decent AB. Had that at bat. Was his the 14 pitch at bat over in St. Pete?
Ball game in which he drove in a couple runs.
Yeah, had a sac fly.
Minor league career, when you have that average north of 300, you can hit. It's just a matter of getting an opportunity and being in the right place. Reaches out, drives it left center field, hits it well. Ankiel won't get it. It's in the gap. Scoring is Lucas. Dobbs around third. He's gonna score. Jordan Brown drives in 2. On May 31st, as the Marlins are battling the Mets, they get big RBI hits from Ed Lucas and Jordan Brown.
A terrific pitch, too. Down, away, was off speed, and Brown stayed on it. That's how you have that batting average over 300 in the minor leagues. Got it away from Ankiel. 2 runs scored. Lucas scored, and Dobbs came all the way from first base. Super job. Great ABs this entire inning.
It was scoreless. It's now 4-0. with a double.
How about Jordan Brown now has 6 at-bats. He's 2 for 6 since joining the ball club. Has 5 RBIs. And we talked about the good ABs he's had and produced big right there. Now it's up to Robert Carson for the Mets to go after Juan Pierre.
So a 4-0 lead for Miami. Pierre is 1 for 3 in the ball game. Marlins will be going to their bullpen. Jacob Turner turns in a fabulous 7 scoreless inning effort.
Just terrific. 81 pitches for Turner. Looks like Mike Dunn will come in to work.
New York had 5 hits. Big inning, big night. First major league start for a 31-year-old rookie out of Port Orange, Florida. Ground ball first. Davis steps on the bag, and Carson ends the inning, but not before the Marlins get big hits from Ed Lucas. His first major league hit drives in a run. And then Jordan Brown chases home 2, 4-0 Marlins. The series against the Mets at 110. Jewish Heritage Day. You get the Pepsi 4 for $54 pack. Kids get a Giancarlo Stanton arm sleeve courtesy of Fox Sports Florida and can run the bases after the game in the Diamond Dash. Go to Marlins.com for tickets. Let's check in with Craig Minervini.
Well, Rich, thank you very much. We're in some great seats here behind the plate with Savannah Ashton, the Boys and Girls Club Youth of the Year out of Stranahan High School, the amazing GPA, and you do all this work, over 500 community service hours with people. Why do you do all that?
I love the Boys and Girls Club, and I love what they've done for me, and so I just want to give back.
What did they do for you?
They provided a place for me to go after school, gave me college scholarship opportunities. It's just a place where I can do positive things.
And you're in the Poetry Club, you're a musician.
Yes.
ROTC in the past?
Yes.
What do you like the best out of all those?
I like ROTC. ROTC is very structured and it's fun. It doesn't look fun from other people's perspective, but like drilling, it's very fun.
And the Poetry Club, what's that all about?
Yes, I'm president of the Poetry Club. We perform at school. I just did a poetry slam at Nova University and got first place. And yeah.
Do you have a quick poem for us off the top of your head or no?
No.
Well, maybe you could write one and send it in on a Tuesday night. Would you do that? Yeah, you had a chance to visit. There's a big group tonight from the Boys and Girls Club here in left field, and you had a chance. I know you don't work with all of them straight, but you got a chance to see it and say hello, huh?
Yes. They're having so much fun. They have the loud sticks, and yeah, they're having a ball.
If there are people out there who would like to get involved with the Boys and Girls Club, do you know how they would do that?
There are Boys and Girls Clubs in every county and every area. Just go in there, tell them you want to volunteer, and it's for a very low price, and they help a lot of kids.
Yeah, you do too. Thanks a lot and congratulations. It's quite an honor.
Yes, it is. It's a dream.
Boys and Girls Club Youth of the Year, Savannah Ashton, going into 11th grade, and are very proud parents here. You must be very proud.
We are very proud of her. I'm very thankful to the Boys and Girls Club.
Very proud of Savannah.
All right. Adrian's not too happy though. He's from New York and he's a big Mets fan, but you're rooting for the right team.
Absolutely. The Marlins all the way.
Back to you guys.
All right, thank you, Craig. Mike Davis takes down low, so it's Mike Dunn who takes the baton from Jacob Turner after 7 scoreless innings by the Marlins right-hander. Dunn out of the pen. Marlins bullpen has experienced some turbulence over the last week. That Rays series and the White Sox series not kind to the pen. And Dunn with a 94-mile-an-hour fastball strikes out Davis. So an out in the 8th. The Marlins are on social media, and there are several ways to connect with Marlin fans just like you. Marlins.com/connect. Get you a full roster of Marlin players on Twitter and all the official Marlin accounts on Instagram, Twitter, and more. Share the Marlin memories. Hashtag Let's Go Fish.
So let's see. Next email Twitter Tuesday will be at Citizens Bank Park in Philadelphia.
Justin Turner.
A good start for Mike Dunn to come on and strike out the lefty Ike Davis. So you hope that that little glitch, the little bumpy road for the bullpen is over, and guys like Dunn and Webb get back on track the way they were. And with the pitches that Dunn has thrown so far, it looks that way.
Well, that pair in particular was on a really nice ride. Turner's been struggling, 5 for his last 32. Turner excelled as a pinch hitter a couple of seasons ago. Turns on that one. Pierre starts back and makes the catch. All right, here's the AT&T Uverse Twitter poll. With the Mets winning the Subway Series, are they the better team than the Yankees? So far, our social media savvy audience is into meeting the Mets. My goodness, is that Dominic Brown having a big night tonight for the Phils?
I know he hit earlier. Phillies are playing the Brewers. Earlier he hit home run number 14. He had a 2-homer game the other night.
Well, Milwaukee leads that ball game 7-5. It's in Philly. It's in the bottom of the 6th. Done with the count 1-1. Dominic Brown has hit 2 home runs. So Brown has homered twice.
Yeah, he hit 2 the other night against the Orioles.
For the Phils. He is, you know, all the questions were at the start of the season, when is this guy going to ever start hitting? And the answer is now, apparently. Up the middle, into center field. And Omar Quintanilla with a base hit. Quintanilla with a 2-out single. Now Murphy. Murphy gets into one, left center field. Coughlin racing, and he won't get it. It bounces up against the wall. Quintanilla around third on his way home, and the Mets have a run. It's a 4-1 game. Daniel Murphy, 18 doubles now. He was second in the National League coming in.
Well, the glitches continue because the 2 guys with hits here, Quintanilla and Murphy, left-handed bats. They're the guys you want to see Mike Dunn get. And by doing that, by Murphy getting his, that brings Wright to the plate.
David Wright trying to spin on a breaking ball. And it's 0-1. Wright's flied out, struck out, bounced into a fielder's choice. So the Mets get to the Marlins bullpen.
Yeah, Murphy tied with Jay Bruce with the 18 doubles now.
Not a lot of at-bats against Mike Dunn. One and 2. Steve Cishek in Miami's bullpen. Daniel Murphy, 2 hits tonight. Omar Quintanilla's got a couple hits tonight. Wright takes well in. Count stays at 2-2. So Steven Strasburg left with an undisclosed injury after 2 innings. Cincinnati has Johnny Cueto throwing a 1-hitter right now in the bottom of the 8th in Pittsburgh, 4-0 Reds. Struck him out. Wright caught looking. And Dunn strikes out the Mets' third baseman and their best hitter with a runner in scoring position. That sound means tomorrow's starters, brought to you as always by Chevron. Colin McHugh for the Mets. Jose Fernandez for the Marlins.
Colin McHugh pitched a handful of games last year with the Mets, but making his 2013 Met debut, making his appearance out of the bullpen. Now Greg Burke.
Polanco here in the bottom of the 8th. And then Dietrich, then Ozuna. Burke, since being called up from Las Vegas, has gone 6 2/3 scoreless. Had a couple of saves in Las Vegas. That's the flip side. We talk about what a great hitter's park that is in Las Vegas, and it is. Cashman Field. It can be tough on ERAs. It can be tough on pitchers. There's a few parks in the Coast League, Albuquerque, Colorado Springs, Vegas. Here Polanco questioning that call.
Hey, the last time the Marlins had an inning where they scored 4 or more runs was May 5th, that 14-run game in Philadelphia. They scored 5 runs in the first.
Two and two. You're just happening by. Jacob Turner went 7 scoreless innings. Sean Markham was outstanding until the Marlins got to him in the bottom of the 7th. Miami got 4 runs in that bottom of the 7th. Burke, a little sidearm look. Right charging in. Makes the throw to first. So out here in the 8th for the Mets bullpen. That man, getting his first big league start, came up with the big hit. Got the scoring started, an RBI single for Ed Lucas. Dietrich doubled his last time up, sprays that grounder out to short. Quintanilla in the dirt, and it kicks away and up into the seats. Dietrich will end up at second base. Davis couldn't save the throw.
The Mets will think about plays like that because those are plays that Tejada, who's on the disabled list, usually makes. Quintanilla could not get quite enough on the throw, and Mike Davis usually pretty sure-handed. He just couldn't come up with it. It'll be an error charged to Quintanilla.
Marcell Ozuna. Now Ozuna had a hit with a runner in scoring position. That was back in the 7th. It didn't score Dietrich. He had to wait to see if it would fall, and he stopped at third. That's a fair ball. Down the line it goes. Into the corner. Ozuna's going to pick up an RBI. Dietrich scores, and it's 5-1.
Just stay hot.
3 hits for Ozuna.
Boy, he's gone all over the ballpark with base hits, too. This time he uncoils, turns on that 2-seamer, that side-winding delivery, gets it right over the bag.
You know, one of the things that Tino Martinez remarked about Ozuna, he has a lot of moving parts before the pitch, but as the pitch is delivered, if you watch Ozuna from a side swing, he gets that front foot down and he gets the bat back perfectly still and is cocked and ready, and he rarely gets jammed. We saw him bring his hands through on that high fastball in St. Pete, and he pulls that one for a double. See, watch.
There's all the moving parts, but once he gets it set and in that loaded position, then it quiets down.
Coughlin a 1 for 3. Burke out of Duke University. Coughlin hits that one to center field. Ankiel back at the track, makes the catch. Tagging, and on his way to third is Ozuna.
Rich, you talked a couple of innings ago about Ozuna not having a lot of opportunities with runners in scoring position. A couple of base hits tonight. He's 12 for 24 now with runners in scoring position.
Coughlin hit that ball a ton. Now Lucas. Ed Lucas 1 for 2. He has a sacrifice bunt. Had the RBI hit in the 7th to get the scoring started. And fouls that one off. Also was flied to center. Echeverria getting the night off. And for Echeverria, whether he's tired, whether he's struggling, he's probably both. Struggling and tired. Echeverria hitting just 183. Pitch misses in. With Lucas as well, he could give Placido Polanco a night off. Polanco has scuffled at the plate as well. Little roller, right onto first in time. Inning over, but Marcell Ozuna is just heating up. 16 straight, 3 hits tonight. RBI double, even his out was a line drive out to center. He's extended his hit streak to a major league leading 16 games. Marlins Live postgame with Craig Minervini and Jeff Conine from center field. It's after the game, and it's brought to you by Checkers. Back in a familiar spot. Danny Echeverria out at short.
Where the Marlins tonight as a team, 4 for 8 with runners in scoring position, an area that they have struggled in.
Remember, they've got Jose Fernandez on the mound tomorrow, and it is, once again, a 4:10 game. Marlins Live hits the air at 3:30. Colin McHugh, the right-hander, and Jose Fernandez will try to even his record at 500.
So the Marlins 3 outs away from breaking this 9-game losing streak.
And snapping the Mets' 5-game win streak. Duda single back in the 4th. Along with the hits with runners in scoring position, the Marlins got a terrific start from Jacob Turner. 7 innings, 5 hits, no runs. Turner in the ballgame struck out 3, walked 1. Mike Dunn gave up a run in the 8th, and here is Cishek.
There's just been a lot of positives in this game. And you'd like to see it finish with a positive. You'd like to see a nice outing from Steve Cishek.
Well, for Cishek, the struggle has come against left-handed hitters. Lefty's hitting .326. Duda hit that one with authority. Both of his home runs have been getting up to lefties. Not a save situation. Ozuna. An out here in the 9th. FoxSportsFlorida.com, your home for complete coverage of Florida sports teams, Marlins postgame coverage. Ed Lucas talking about his Major League debut, a dream comes true. Game 6 of the Eastern Conference Finals in Indiana coming up tomorrow. All this and more on FoxSportsFlorida.com. Mike Baxter hitting here for John Buck. Terry Collins reads the splits. He knows the lefties have had success. And so Baxter off the bench and into the box. New York native. Baxter is in a real slide right now. 3 for his last 25.
Well, that's what's amazing when we kind of peruse the offense of the Mets. A number of hitters struggling. Some in the lineup every day, and Ike Davis, to point at him, and then some guys who are bench players, off the bench guys, and that's why it's been amazing, but that's why it's been all pitching that allowed the Mets to have that 5-game winning streak.
Baxter, one of the better pinch hitters in the league this year, 6 for 13. Last year, he was the best in terms of average. For a minimum of 20 plate appearances, he hit .458, 11 for 24. Cishek runs the count 3-2. They have banged that game in St. Louis. San Francisco and the Cardinals postponed. Dobbs is over there. Cishek gets to the bag, and the Mets are down to their last out.
It's always great to hear the catcher yells after the pitcher just to It's a reflex reaction. Make sure that pitcher gets over there to cover first base.
Now Ankiel, who is 0 for 3. .410 start tomorrow. Jose Fernandez, Matt Harvey, Kevin Slowey on Sunday at 1 o'clock.
Tell you another positive that could come out of this. We talked about Cishek. If he gets this inning 1, 2, 3, he will also have retired 3 left-handed hitters. Good to see. Crowd hasn't had this opportunity too often.
0-2 got him. Ball game. Marlins snap a long 9-game losing streak. And they do it with the arm of a 22-year-old, Jacob Turner. And they do it with big hits from guys that started the season in AAA. Ed Lucas and Jordan Brown. Mike Redmond pointed words after the ball game last night, saying someone needs to step up. And tonight, the Marlins did just that. They cooled down a hot Mets team. The Mets' 5-game win streak is over. 5 runs, 8 hits for the Marlins. A run on 7 hits for the Mets. 5-1, Miami a winner tonight.